A bipartisan group of U.S. senators has published the text of a long-awaited proposal for a bill that includes military aid to both Israel and Ukraine. Republicans have been insisting on allocating funding for U.S. border security in return for approving more military aid to Ukraine. There's been months of negotiation to get the bill written, but it still needs to be approved in several votes before landing on President Joe Biden's desk. Alan Fisher is in Washington, D.C. He's been following this for us. So President Biden has just been speaking about this proposed bill. What's he been saying, Alan?
The bill's in trouble. It already is in trouble just hours after its birth. There's been several months of negotiation. The senators finally produced a 370-page bill. It covers $118 billion of spending. Now, some of that is for the border, to make border security tighter, to make immigration checks much stricter, to make applying for asylum both easier and more difficult as well. But there's also the help for Ukraine and Israel. There's $62 billion there for Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel, a lot of that to replenish weapons that have been used in the war in Gaza. But there are difficulties there already. Now, Joe Biden has said that this makes the border more secure than it has been in decades. And he says it's time for Republicans to stop playing politics with the border and get this to him so he can sign the bill as quickly as possible. But a number of Republican senators have already said they're against the bill. Part of the difficulty is they said that before they even saw the details. A couple of them even said the quiet part out loud, that they weren't going to vote for this because it could give Joe Biden a bipartisan victory in an election year, particularly as Donald Trump has said that he's going to run on the idea of border security. But Joe Biden says this is now time for the Republicans to stop playing politics with the border and pass this bill. But here's another difficulty for Joe Biden. Steve Scalise, who is the majority leader in the House of Representatives, he's a Republican. He's the man that decides essentially when the House votes on things. And he's already said that he's not going to bring this to the floor of the House. Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker, has already said that if the bill ever did make it to the floor of the House, it's dead on arrival. Now, Joe Biden says there's still a lot of work to be done to get this over the line. It seems that a lot more than he expected, and this bill is struggling just hours after its birth.
Alan Fisher reporting from Washington, D.C. on this. Thank you very much, Alan.